On November 22, 1963, at 12:30 p.m., 3 gunshots suddenly rang out in the middle of a crowd of more than 200,000 people on the streets of Dallas, Texas. The Secret Service, FBI, CIA, and Dallas police were busy surrounding one of them. He was the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. One of the assassin's bullets tore through his throat, but another shattered his skull. The assassination of President Kennedy was the most sensational political assassination of the 20th century. The scars of that event that shook the whole world remain. Even after 6 decades, John F. Kennedy was a little different from the average American president. The handsome Kennedy was also known as a good orator. He surprised everyone by defeating Republican candidate Richard Nixon in the 1960 presidential election. He was sworn in as the 35th President of the United States at the age of 43. Kennedy was elected president at a time when the 2 superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, were fighting for power. There was a book against racism in the United States, a storm of mass protests. As part of his campaign for a second term as president, Kennedy went to Texas on November 22, 1963. He was accompanied by First Lady Jacqueline Lee. Kennedy was killed in a motorcade assassination. Within a few hours, Lee Harvey Oswald, a 24-year-old former Marine, was arrested. Some evidence, including a gun, was found in a nearby high-rise building. Oswald was charged with Kennedy's murder. But what really happened, and why did he shoot? There was no opportunity to extract much information from Oswald's mouth because 48 hours after his arrest, a local businessman entered the Dallas police headquarters and shot Oswald dead. Before the motive could be revealed, Oswald was killed in police custody. The mystery grew as many conspiracy theories began to circulate around the Kennedy assassination. 8 days after the Kennedy assassination, the Warren Commission was formed under the supervision of the new President Lyndon Johnson. That commission was 𝐕𝐝𝐝. The Page's report stated that Kennedy was shot by Oswald and that no one else was involved. The idea of a larger conspiracy behind it was also dismissed. Oswald fired 3 shots at Kennedy from a 6th-floor window of the Texas School Book Depository building. The first shot pierced Kennedy's neck and exited. The second hit Governor Conley, who was sitting in the front seat, in the back. The last shot hit the back of Kennedy's head, but the mystery deepened. A video footage of the assassination shows Kennedy's head tilted back after the shot. This would not have happened if someone had fired from behind, so many suspected that the shot came from the front. Many believed that Kennedy was shot by not 1, but 2 gunmen. An eyewitness named Tony Glover claimed that he saw another gunman firing from the opposite side of the street. In addition, 4 gunshots were recorded on a Dallas radio during the incident, which mysteriously disappeared. It is known that the assassin Lee Harvey Oswald spent some time in the Soviet Union before the assassination of Kennedy. He also had contacts with the KGB. However, he returned to the United States the year before the assassination. So many people think that he did this on behalf of the Soviet Union or Cuba. While Oswald Kennedy was in power, in 1962, a secret operation was carried out in Cuba by the CIA to overthrow the Castro government, but the mission failed. People were taken prisoner. This failure of America by the Castro government is known in history as the Bay of Pigs invasion. According to many, Castro ordered this operation to take revenge. Others claim that the CIA was behind it. The assassin Oswald had been under surveillance for 3 years before the assassination of Kennedy. The CIA had been monitoring Oswald for about 3 years. A month before the assassination, Oswald met with Soviet agents in Mexico City, but this information was hidden in the testimony given to the Warren Commission by the then Deputy Director of the CIA, Richard Helms. Former intelligence officer John M. Newman leaked some secret CIA documents in 1995. He claims that the CIA and FBI changed Some of Oswald's information before and after the Kennedy assassination, even hiding it because they knew that Oswald was a threat to national security. Newman believes that former CIA counterintelligence chief James Angleton was the mastermind behind the Kennedy assassination, but the former CIA chief and Warren Commission member Allen Dulles is behind it because Kennedy fired him in 1961 for the failure of the biopic operation. A new committee of members of the U.S. House of Representatives was formed in 1976 to reinvestigate the Kennedy assassination. In their 1989 report, they said that it was not impossible that there were two gunmen in the shooting of Kennedy. Dallas police radio transmission records also found evidence of this, but before the draft of the report was released, sound experts reanalyzed the radio records and completely rejected the claim. Music. In 2023, former intelligence officer Paul Landis revealed new information about the Kennedy assassination. The former Secret Service agent said that during the assassination, he found a magic bullet in the back seat of the car and placed it on the president's stretcher for testing. But somehow, the bullet disappeared. The Warren Commission investigating the assassination never interviewed Landis. Many believe that the bullet was being moved from one place to another in an attempt to divert the investigation into a different area. It is also part of an attempt to cover up the possibility that there may have been another attacker. This was kept secret for more than 5 decades in the interests of national security. Under pressure, all documents related to the Kennedy assassination were kept secret for more than 5 decades. In 1992, the U.S. Congress passed the Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act, which ordered the release of more than 3 million secret documents related to the Kennedy assassination by October 2017. However, after the government's court with various state intelligence agencies, everything was blocked under the pretext of security. If 10,000 documents were released by the end of the Trump administration, Biden came and released another 16,000 documents. Many Americans believe that only a proper review of these documents will reveal their real reason for the Kennedy assassination. However, researchers from the Mary Farrell Foundation, who have been working hard to solve the mystery of the Kennedy assassination for a long time, say otherwise. They claim that the CIA has kept much of the information about the time Oswald spent in Mexico City secret. They never submitted some of the documents from that incident to the U.S. National Archives, so they are not even in the newly released documents. Although the U.S. intelligence agency has denied this conspiracy information, music, like John Kennedy, his younger brother Bobby Kennedy was also killed during the presidential election campaign in 1968. Another brother, Edward Kennedy, also ended his political career in a car accident due to the death of a person. Kennedy's son, John F. Kennedy Jr., was killed in a plane crash in 1999. A president was shot dead by an assassin in his open-top limousine 61 years ago. But what questions about that assassination still raise in the minds of Americans? Maybe this will continue.